Hello, Internet. I'm Evan Dashevsky, features editor with PCMag.com. Welcome to The Convo. Okay, so today we're going to talk about monsters. They're out there. Maybe. So all around the world, there are myths about monsters and creatures lurking in the forest. Now, usually these creatures are just that, myths. But every so often, they turn out to be very real animals that scientists just haven't come into contact with yet. Okay, so like the giant panda, for example, he was thought to be some fanciful creatures by Western scientists all the way up until the 19th century. Ancient tales of giant tentacled sea monsters were thought to be the result of drunken sailors who were out at sea too long, but modern scientists now believe that those were probably the first sightings of the very real giant squid. Okay, so that leads us to an interesting question. What other real monsters are still out there? Well, my guest today is attempting to find out. He's one of the world's premier adventure cameramen, including a long-time stint shooting on location with Bear Grylls. He's traveled all around the globe to some of the world's most remote and dangerous locations, but now steps in front of the camera for the new series, Expedition Mungo, which airs on Sundays at 10 p.m. on Animal Planet. Paul MUNGEAM, a.k.a. Mungo, welcome to The Convo.
Thank you, Evan. What an introduction. We need more time.
No. We try to keep it up. Yeah. Okay, now for those of you at home, the show's called The Convo, not The Dialogue. So if you have any questions, ask them in the comments, and Social Pete will read them off throughout the show. Now, if you're watching this after the fact or listening to the podcast and you still have questions for Mungo, let that be a lesson to you. Watch when we're live next time. Okay, so let's jump into it. Did I describe this right? You're looking for monsters out in the wild.
Yeah, basically, the series Expedition Mungo is all about stories that I've heard over my 20 years of being a cameraman and traveling to over 90 countries around the world. Yeah. Because wherever you go, there's always a bigger, a better story.
Right.
So sometimes I've been there to shoot something, and then our local guide is standing there, and once the camera's off, he's like to me, he goes, "Oh yeah, but you should have been here 3 years ago when a 27-foot crocodile was here."
Yeah.
So it's always kind of quite frustrating. But then, the opportunity came up through Animal Planet, which was a fantastic opportunity to actually be sent to go back and then investigate some of these stories for real. And I have to really state the stories are real.
Yeah.
Whether they're real or not is for us to find out and for me to work out. But the stories already exist, so it's not like we're just making them up for a TV show.
Right.
They do exist out there. So it's a great privilege to go and meet some of the eyewitnesses face to face, and also some of the victims or the family of the victims, because some of the attacks very seriously resulted in fatalities.
Yeah.
So there's a serious side to it as well as the kind of balls out adventure.
Now, I love the ghost investigation shows that are there's a lot of them out there. Now, the problem with those shows is that they never really find anything.
Yeah.
Now, I will watch the shit out of the show. I'm excited. Even if you don't find it, I love the ghost investigation shows. I'll love the show.
Yeah.
But it brings up the question, did you ever actually catch anything on video that you can talk about?
Well, there's been a lot of talk about this, about people saying, "Oh, but you're never going to see it," or "Where's the payoff?" But I have to say, I'm not going to be a spoiler for the series, but you have to watch the series.
Okay.
But we did actually solve at least one of the mysteries.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was amazing. And you know what? Hand on heart, when we started filming the series, I was just like, this is never going to happen.
Right.
But it did.
Okay.
So keep watching.
Okay, very interesting. Actually, and we do have a clip of the show, if we can roll that, Pete.
What did you actually see? What happened?
We went to hunt along the Kenai River, along the bank of the river. We saw it and we went into the river. And quickly we left from there.
Amazing. How do you feel about it now? Are you scared by it?
Yes. It's not something like we battle, either you beat me or I beat you. You can't survive. You must be gone. It's dangerous.
Whoa. Okay, so if you like, kind of like the adventure out in the jungle sort of shows, this is going to be the kind of cool show for you. Now, every so often they discover, they announce that they found this animals, and it's usually they find small mice or things like that, or under the sea they can still, I think there's still big creatures there. So you think there's still big creatures out there? I mean, I have my doubts, and I think you did too, at least initially, because we are such a monitored world. So many satellites, so many drones, so many everything, and everyone has a camera. So you might have talked to people who said "Oh, we saw this giant creature." If that happened today, people are going to pull out their phones to say, "Oh, we actually have it on video." Yeah. So you still have hope that there's these things are still out there.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Two things.
Okay.
Number one is, when you've flown over places like the Amazon jungle, which I have on small aeroplanes and helicopters, the only way I can explain it, it's like an ocean of tree canopy. I mean, it is vast, and it goes on for as far as the eye can see for hours on end. And even though you know, because we've all been taught at school, that the Amazon jungle is big, when you see it, you're just like, this place is like a world of its own. And when you do fly over, you just think, you know, who am I to say that something that we've never seen before, or scientists have never kind of proven lives before, isn't living down there? Because, I mean, even when we were in Peru, I mean, during the series we went to 6 countries. We went to Peru, Argentina, India, Borneo, Namibia and Liberia, all wild and wonderful places. But Peru, which of course we just think Lima, you know, the Machu Picchu and all that, which we've all kind of done if you've been lucky enough, which are amazing places. But you don't think that, you know, part of the Amazon basin, the Amazon jungle, actually comes into Peru. And that's where we were. And we were looking for a giant snake. So you'll have to watch the show. But while we were there, the government released press that there were 15 people groups living in that area of Peru, in the jungle, that have never been contacted. And that's what they estimate. So look, if there are people groups that still are untouched, then you can't tell me that there are wild animals out there that we've got no idea what they are. The second point is that I spoke in Liberia. I spoke to an amazing American scientist called Matt Shirley, and he's actually, I think he takes funding from the University of Miami, but he's been in Sierra Leone and up that kind of Ivory Coast of Africa doing you know, scientific research about crocodiles in particular, or people in the crocodilian, not people, animals in the crocodilian family. And he actually, I think it was 3 or 4 new species of crocodile he's found. So there are new species out there. That's not a kind of question, that's a fact. And I was chatting to him and he said, well, that area of Liberia where you're going is a scientific black hole. And because 14 years of civil war, 3 years of the Ebola crisis, which was wiping people out left, right and centre, people just haven't been there. So, you know, who knows? And he said from a scientific point of view, it's a black hole, we don't know what's out there.
Facebook, you have a question.
Do you own any unusual animals of your own?
Oh, I've got a 2-year-old son called Herbie, and he is at times a complete animal. Other than that, no. I mean, we've had cats and dogs in the family before, but nothing extraordinary. And I just hope, well, I brought back a tick last week from a Bear Grylls shoot, which was embedded just below my knee. But fortunately, he didn't see the end of the day.
I want to imagine that you bit it out with your bare teeth, but you used tweezers.
My wife got it. I was like, don't go near me. No, I picked it off. It was fine.
But let's also just talk about because you go to some remote places like Liberia. I mean, we have hard enough time keeping a shoot going here in Manhattan, Weston. We love our producer, Weston, here. But, you know, just like, what are the logistics? So, like, when you do a Liberia shoot, how many people are with you?
Well, on average, we had 7 people with us. So we had myself, we had a cameraman, a DOP, which is director of photography. We had an audio guy who's doing all the sound, which is also very important. Often not given the credit they should get. Then we had a director, and we had a production coordinator, and a local guide who's often our translator. So 7 of us.
Do you need security for a place like that?
Oh, sorry, one more. That was 6. And we had Ian, who was our ex-military kind of... He wasn't so much security, he's more of safety. He's like the health and safety thing. Because when you're making TV shows, you have to cross all the... You know, tick all the right boxes and stuff like that. But he was there to look after our well-being, and there was always like a extraction plan. Should it all go horribly wrong, somebody get bitten by a creature or bitten by a snake, and if we had to get out there quickly, Ian was there, trained medic, to help us before we could get out there by helicopter.
Cool. Facebook, you have a question.
Will you search for the chupacabra?
For the what?
The Mexican devil monkey. Yes.
Didn't know about that, but now you mention it, I might. So what's that story?
It's basically this kind of devil monkey that lives, I guess, in Mexico and Central America. You know, rumored that it's out there.
Okay, well, look, this sounds like a cheap plug. Whoever sent that question in, watch the show on Sunday night. Because it starts in Delhi, in India. It doesn't end in Delhi. I'll leave that with you. but it starts in Delhi, and there were reports about a monkey man attacking people, and it literally sent the entire city wild.
Wow.
And we spoke to the police and everything about it, the chief of police, and it's fascinating. So that was a devil monkey, but it wasn't in Mexico, it was in India.
You're originally from Wales?
Wales?
No, where are you from? sorry. Yeah. No. I'm sorry.
I'm from London.
From London.
Well,
okay,
just south of London.
Yeah. What are the local, do you guys have Bigfoot over there? What are the local monsters there?
The biggest feet in London are probably mine.
Yeah.
No, we don't really. We have, in Scotland, you've probably heard of the Loch Ness Monster.
Right.
Which I've never seen.
That's bullshit, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, there are some monsters in Scotland, but most of them go out on a Saturday night for a drink.
Sure.
No, I've got. I don't know. Look, I mean, to be honest, look, this is the God's honest truth.
Yeah.
When I started this series, and some of the stories I'd heard along my career, obviously some of them are so far-fetched. You just think. I mean, for example, one of them was called a dog-headed pig monster, and I'm sure I've kissed a few of those in my teenage years. But the truth is, some of them are so far-fetched. You just think, this just surely can't exist.
Yeah.
But then when you go and see these people and you speak to them face to face, eyewitnesses, and as I said earlier, some of them ends up in fatalities. Yeah. So you take it very seriously, and often it's quite emotional. Some of them were kids that were killed, etc., etc. In Borneo, for example. And when you do meet these people, you do think, I have to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
And not necessarily that it's true, but something happened to them in their life, and I owe it to them to at least really think about it and do my best to investigate what's fact and what's fiction.
Facebook, you have a question.
Have you been to Nepal?
I have been to Nepal, loved it. Went to Kathmandu. I went up there to shoot. It's quite a good little story, actually.
Go for it, yeah.
It's only short, thank goodness. But I got sent up there by a big company to shoot a land speed record on skis. And basically there's this mad, I think he was German, who was going to go up to the top of one of the mountains and just basically point downwards and just go boom. And they're going to try and capture it on a speed camera. And I got sent out there, and I was by myself. And they just said, can you go up there, join the team, because it's going to happen on this day. And then I heard the altitude they wanted me to go to, and I was like, well, that sounds incredibly high for not having any time to climatize. Because if you go up to even Everest Base Camp, you have to climatize over, say, a week's time at least. And I wasn't sure, so I got in touch with Bear Grylls, and I said, look, because he's climbed Everest. He's the youngest Brit to climb Everest ever. So I phoned him and I said, look, they want me to go straight up to this altitude. Do you think that's safe? And he goes, well, you can do it, but you'll die. So I went, okay, all right, so maybe I won't do that after all. So I got back onto the phone in London and said, look, this is what Bear says, experienced mountaineer. And they just said, okay, fair enough, stay out there as long as you want on expenses and we'll fly you back. And I didn't have to go. So the next thing I found a nightclub in Nepal where a Ministry of Sound DJ was playing from London.
Very cool.
And we had good fun with the guides there. It was a good time.
Yeah. The elevation is no joke. I did do Machu Picchu.
Great.
And I think that first night I was there in Cusco, and I was here at elevation 0 here in New York City, but then to go right up there, I don't think I've ever been so sick in my life.
Oh yeah, it's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the worst thing about that altitude sickness is that even though you could do it 10 times and it doesn't affect you, but then you can go the 11th time and it does affect you. In fact, my uncle died mountaineering in Mount Kenya in Africa. He went up about a month before with his friend who got altitude sickness, pulmonary edema, and he was a vet, my uncle, so he did some open heart stuff on him, kept him alive basically.
In a mountain?
On a mountain.
He did open heart surgery?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, not surgery, but he effectively opened him up, gave him hand to heart massage, and then ended up saving the guy's life. And then he went up, my uncle went up a month later to finish the climb, got it himself and died.
You go from hardy stock, my friend.
Well, yeah.
Facebook, you have a question.
What was the scariest moment on set?
Can you repeat that?
The scariest moment.
What?
On set.
What, of this series?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. It was quite hard to say, actually. I mean, in Liberia, I was using a pack raft, which is like a small dinghy, or dinghy, however people say it. So it's little inflatable thing. It's called a pack raft, so you can put it on your back. Packs down really light, little paddle, get it out like a little canoe. And I was going down the river on this, and we were so busy filming I was thinking about technicalities and what words I was saying, et cetera, et cetera. And then suddenly, when the camera was off, you did start thinking, hang on a minute, is this a good idea?
Yeah.
You know, I'm going down this river on a little inflatable, like a balloon.
Yeah.
And there's meant to be this living dinosaur,
Yeah.
which attacks people because it's an aquatic predator. And at that point, your bum starts twitching a bit. But I lived to tell the tale.
Yeah.
And then, in fact, later on on that episode, if you watch it, this was the episode that went out on Sunday night, which was the premiere for the series, and you can still see it on Amazon Go, the website, and they'll probably rerun it as well. But later on, one of our canoes actually sinks, and it was after a really heavy tropical rain, and the river was very fast flowing, and we very seriously came very close, too close to losing lives. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about like some of the hazards of doing what you do. So you've been doing this for at least doing the stuff, the adventure cameraman stuff for 10 years.
20 years.
20 years. Okay. So like, what's the worst injury you've had?
Well, I've had lots of injuries,
Okay,
as you can imagine. Boys with
Do you have
scrapes.
any scars you can show us?
Do you know what? I don't actually, because
Yeah.
I don't think so, because surgery is. I got a scar on my chin.
Okay.
You probably can't say. That was from a roller disco.
Okay.
Yeah.
The most dangerous place on earth.
It was. I was speed skating this
Yeah.
roller disco when I was about 10.
Yeah.
Slipped on some coke and fell over.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola, the drink. And split my chin open.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was bad. Yeah. No, but I got one in India, actually. I was filming with a guy called Charlie Borman, who did Long Way Down, Long Way Round with Ewan McGregor.
Okay.
And Charlie was on a motorbike, and I was filming him kneeling down from a flatbed truck.
Yeah.
Trailer, as you'd call it, right? And I was leaning out the back filming for about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then eventually I slapped on the side of the truck to get them to stop so I could jump out to do a shot of him passing. And as I stood up, my knee cartilage got caught and it just tore.
Your cartilage got caught.
Yeah, which doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm telling you, I was very close to throwing up with pain. And it was nasty. And what we thought, because then I went to a surgeon in India who was fine, had an MRI scan, and they thought it was a small tear. When I got back to London the following day, because I got vacked out of there, it turned out I had a bucket handle tear. So it was literally the shape of a bucket handle. So now I've got 5% cartilage left in there. So that was nasty. But 3 weeks later, I was back out shooting in Malaysia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Facebook, you have a question?
What's your go-to equipment when you're going on these adventures? Like, what's your favorite camera?
That's a good question. I mean, often our cameras are dictated to a degree by the budget or what the production want us to use. On Expedition Mungo, we actually took 14 cameras with us.
Wow.
We had everything from GoPros to FLIR thermal imaging cameras. We had drones, but the main cameras were Sony F5s and F55s. So it was great fun. But the truth is, in these environments, it's all about drills.
Right.
You've got to have the drills right, because you've got to look after the kit. If you look after the kit looks after you. And it's true. I mean, if you're in the jungle and there's 100% humidity, that doesn't bode very well for your lenses, because you get lots of humidity. The lenses fog up every time there's a change in the climate. And likewise, before filming in the Arctic in places, it's all about climatizing your kit and being aware of it. And things like if it's cold, your batteries go like that. They just don't last. They don't hold their power. So you tend to keep them in socks or down your pants or something like that.
Yeah.
And then if it's in the heat, you've got all sorts of different issues. So it's just a case of really understanding your environment, keeping your drills. So if you go to bed early in your hammock and you think, I can't be bothered to do that now, I'm too tired, it could kick you in the arse the next day.
Yeah.
So you've got to get it back out your hammock, go and do the drills, because if not, you'll be screwed.
Well, let's actually talk. We talked a little about, before we started the show, about the drones that you like, because we got some drone enthusiasts out there. We see you.
Droning on,
yeah. Like, what are your favorite drones to use? Because that's kind of become a real tool of the cameraman.
It has. Look, I mean, I'll be the first one to hold my hand up and say I don't physically use them. But the guys, I've got lots of mates who specialise in them. Some incredible operators. I mean, mind-blowingly good and quick, which often is what we need, especially with Bear.
Right.
If you work with Bear Grylls, he wants to do everything a million miles an hour.
Yeah.
So you've got one take to get that stunt, and he's not going to do the stunt again. If you're jumping from a helicopter into a lake, for example, you're not going to do that twice. So you've got to get it first go. And we've got some amazing guys who do that. But we were using the Inspire 2, and the Phantom as well.
Yeah.
And also, often it's dictated to by the rules of the land,
Yeah.
because now they're starting to really crack down on the legal issues of where you're allowed to use drones. Some countries just blank refuse to let you in with them,
Yep.
so we just couldn't use drones. Other places you have to have a pilot's license, etc., etc.
Right.
So yeah, it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful piece of kit,
Yeah.
and if you compare that to the price of getting a Cineflex on the bottom of a helicopter for a day,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ludicrously expensive compared with a drone.
Well, you mentioned Bear Grylls, huge Bear Grylls fan. Now he's always positive. I think that's his thing. Is that like you always got to keep a positive attitude. So that all the time, does the camera shut off? Does he start cursing and saying like,
No.
"You need to go home now"?
No,
He's a pretty positive guy.
Yeah,
throughout.
he's so positive. He's so
Yeah.
positive. It's nauseating.
Yeah.
No. It's true. I mean,
Yeah.
he is. He just is what you see is what
Yeah.
you get. Which is why he's so good on TV,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, no, he's the real deal, Bear. And and Bear, like everybody on TV, you often get a lot of negative comments, a lot of people slagging you, slapping you down.
Yeah.
But look, I've worked with him for 10 years. I know him and his family, and I've got no vested interest really in saying anything other than he is what he is. He's a great guy. He's a good friend.
And then you also mentioned, let's go back to like some of the danger and the perils. Now you said you have a 2-year-old at home now. Does that affect your decisions of like how dangerous a place you want to go and the kind of things that the risks you're willing to take?
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I wouldn't be human
Yeah, of
if
course.
it didn't. I
Yeah.
mean, Bear and I often talk about actually the older we get, the more we realise we've got more to lose.
Right.
Whereas when you're younger, you kind of think you're invincible.
Yeah.
You've got 9 lives, which you definitely haven't. But when you do get older, I think you just become a bit more wise to it, and you
Yeah.
think, is this really worth it? Ultimately, we're making TV, even though these stories are great to be told and need to be told, I think, in some cases. But ultimately, we're making TV. It's not worth dying for.
Gotcha. Facebook, you have a question.
Many Icelanders believe in elves and trolls. What are your thoughts?
They're true. They're real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's one here, isn't it?
Yeah. Is that a short joke?
Yeah, no, I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm not the shortest at all. Hey, look, I've been to Iceland and I love it. Have you ever been?
Yes, beautiful.
It's amazing.
Everyone
isn't
should
it?
go. Yes.
It's
yes,
a bit like
yeah.
it's a bit like being on the surface of the moon.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I mean, I've never been to anywhere like it.
Yeah.
But
I will say this: I've never seen people drink as much as the Icelanders.
oh, really?
Yeah, they're on a Friday night. Whew.
Big lads as well. Big blokes.
Big blokes, but just like when you're there, by 2 in the morning on the main strip there in Reykjavik, that is a scene. Just be warned. Or if you're into that, go for it. Yeah.
What I would say to that is that when I started this series, a bit like I said before, really,
Yeah.
when you started, you can be very sceptical, but when you do meet people face to face, and if they really believe it, it's very compelling.
Yeah.
And it's quite hard to say, you're just full of rubbish, aren't you?
Yeah.
Because I'm just not like that. I like to champion the underdog.
Yeah.
And I think, well, who knows? Maybe we're the ones that are wrong, and they've got it all right.
Right. So just to wrap up with a few things. Now, in my travels, I would meet travelers who would say you would not get sick if you were in like a developing country if you do a shot of vodka before you eat. Now, I would be drinking anyway, so that was great. But truth to that, what do you think?
Well-
Shot of vodka or whiskey before you eat?
No.
No. Okay.
Well, to be honest, when
Yeah.
I'm shooting, I tend not to drink too much because
Right.
often we're doing dangerous stuff.
Right.
If I was
At
drunk,
the hotel.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
If I was drunk or anything, I'd have serious insurance implications should
Right.
something go wrong.
Right.
Yeah, but no. I mean, I just think it's about really good drills. Same way you look after the camera, you got to look after yourself.
Right.
You got to be really stringent with your water about how you keep hydrated, which is so critical more than anything.
Right.
But also with food, I mean, when I do these shows, people often say, when I hear I work with Bear, they're like, oh, do you eat, mad stuff? And I have done before, and I've got away with it.
Yeah.
But the truth is, I'm being paid to be out there doing the job, and I've got to deliver. So part of me has to be professional and just say, you can eat the dog's penis or whatever it is, Although I have actually eaten that.
And?
Didn't taste like chicken.
Didn't taste like chicken.
No.
Okay. We'll leave that there. What's left on the bucket places of places to visit? Yeah.
Where do I start?
Okay, yeah.
I think it's a bit like many things in life. The more you get exposed to it, the more you want to see. And I've been to. Well, I stopped counting at 90 countries.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of countries still out there.
Yeah.
I think there's around the 200 mark.
Yeah.
So I'd like to go to every country there is. But
And they change all the time. They're always new countries.
Yeah, that's true. But I probably won't get to. I'd love to go. Number one would probably be Greenland.
Okay.
just because no one ever goes there.
Yeah.
You know, everything's green.
I have looked into that.
Yeah.
You cannot take a direct flight from New York City to Greenland. It does not exist.
Can't you?
You have to go into Europe and then go to Denmark and then come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently there aren't many roads and stuff. And
Yeah.
I just think what I love now, when you've been to so many countries, you tend to go back to the same countries time and time again because they're regularly, there's a subject to be filmed, which you film a million times.
Yeah.
But for me, the real joy is to go to somewhere that I've never been before. And on this series, I was able to go to, I think, 2 or 3 countries I've never been to before.
Okay.
Just on the strength of hearing the stories from other countries and then being able to go to those countries. And that's, an amazing privilege, which I really don't ever take for granted.
Very cool. Facebook, you have a question.
What's scarier, animals or people?
Oh, definitely people.
Yeah.
Definitely people, 100%. Because look, animals, when you get to know animals, if you get to know your subject, which is so important, especially for wildlife photography, which I've done a bit of, they can be very predictable. And their movements, their actions are quite similar. They have basics. They basically eat, fight, shag, if I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, you can say whatever.
And they've got a limited amount of what they do, really. Whereas humans are very unpredictable. And the times when I've been the most scared aren't through animals at all, but are through humans, sadly.
Yeah. So we end with the same 10 questions that we ask all our guests. Feel free to ask any more Facebook questions. Okay. So do you use Windows or Mac?
Mac.
Mac, okay. Do you use Android or iPhone?
iPhone.
Okay. Look at you, fancy pants. Have you recently come across a piece of technology and it made you think, wow, I'm living in the future?
Yeah, in London, we've got an app called Park Mobile.
Okay.
And it basically means you don't have to carry coins on you anymore for parking in the meter.
Cool. Yeah.
So when you get out, you can just get your app out and go, they put a number like 036, and that's the parking bay. You do that and you don't have to think about it again. That, for me, as a Londoner, that's a game changer.
When you are waiting in line at a store, what's the first app you open to pass the time?
Oh, I'm so embarrassed to say. It's
Say it.
Facebook.
Facebook? That's not embarrassing. I think that's normal.
No, I know, but the thing is, I heard recently that Facebook's meant to be quite a middle-aged kind of platform.
Yes,
now.
the average age of the Facebook user is now 45.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm 46.
Okay, so you're perfect.
I'm all right.
Yeah,
I'm still the younger side of it.
Absolutely.
I'm winning.
Yeah.
I'm winning.
Ed Snowden. I usually ask traitor or hero, but usually to Americans. But I don't know. Should Americans consider him a traitor or a hero?
Who?
Edward Snowden. He's a guy who told about all the NSA secrets, former NSA guy, about 3 years ago. If you don't have a strong opinion, that's cool too.
I'd rather not say.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't feel informed enough to say that. Sorry.
Will the singularity occur in 2054?
Who knows?
Yes.
Who knows? Who cares? There's probably nothing we can do about it anyway.
No, but if you make it, then you get to live forever.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to live forever.
Fair enough.
Oasis. I want to live forever. Great song.
Is there intelligent life out there in the universe?
Oh, that's a massive question, isn't
Yeah.
it? Do you know what?
We go for the big questions here.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
I'd like to think so. I've got a broad mind,
Yeah.
you know? I really have. And I think, to be honest, doing this show has just made it even broader.
Yeah.
And that's within our spectrum.
Yeah.
Because I just think, I just don't know anymore.
Okay.
And some of the stories that we investigated, I still don't know. I've come back thinking I've got no idea. And sometimes we don't get the payoff.
Yeah.
And I know we get criticism for that sometimes, but the truth is, I think it's just, if we knew everything, the world would be a boring place, right?
Absolutely.
So I like the fact there's mysteries out there.
Facebook, you have a question.
Nike or Adidas?
That is not one of our normal questions, but go for it. Yeah.
I would say Adidas.
Yeah. One of the questions, I think I'm going to know the answer already. We kind of went over it. I ask all our guests, is Bigfoot out there? That's our monster here in America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I would say I err on the side of yes.
Okay. Err on the side of yes.
I err on the side of yes.
Like it.
Well, the reason being is, look, I mean, in all seriousness, if that's a real question, then watch my series, Expedition Mungo, because we do similar things in a couple of countries, and I was very sceptical. I've seen Harry and the Hendersons, right?
Yeah.
And I believe Harry lives.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I love Harry.
That was a documentary, right?
Yeah. And and I'd love that to be true, but. We followed a few things, and I must admit the eyewitness accounts were staggering. In fact, one guy went mute for over 2 weeks And he was a very normal guy,
Yeah.
just a normal, average guy, average Joe Blow with 3 kids, lovely bloke. He went mute because he was so terrified by what he saw.
Wow.
Lost his job, got ostracized by his community. Yeah, it devastated his life. And we were the first TV interview he's ever given.
Wow. And did you do any in North America or?
No, not
Yeah.
yet.
Okay.
Next season.
Next season?
Next
Okay.
season.
Yeah. He's gonna find Bigfoot. This is the man who's gonna make it happen.
I'd love that.
What is your go-to drink when you're at the bar? Not
Oh.
on location, but
Oh, Indian Pale Ale.
okay.
100%.
Alright.
I'm obsessed by this whole craft beer
Yeah.
revolution.
You could see our beer fridge after you're done. If
I
your
love
handler's cool with it. Yeah,
I
no.
love
yeah,
beer.
yeah.
Love beer. Indian Pale Ale.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say my favourite one?
Absolutely.
Because you've got to try it.
Yeah, go for
it's
it.
by a brewery called 4 Pure, and they're based in London, I think, but they say that they're influenced by America, craft brewing.
Yeah.
And it's called Session IPA. It's in a bright blue can.
Yeah.
It's to die for.
Okay. We're in the golden age of television now. So aside from your show, which everyone should watch, what are you watching these days?
That's a good question. I'm a bit fanatical about medical stuff.
Okay.
Real life medical stuff.
Okay.
There's a show at home called An Hour to Save Your Life, and it's just mind blowing. Obviously, I tend to watch it from a technical point of view.
Right.
I'm looking out for boom shadows, whatever, half the
Yeah.
time, which you can see a lot actually, but not in this. And it's 9 times out of 10 it'll have me in tears at the end. And I'm a big softie.
Okay.
But yeah, it's pure real life drama. Amazing.
Cool. Mungo, this has been amazing. Thank you so much. So the show is Expedition Mungo, Sundays at 10 on Animal Planet. Anything else that people should look out for?
The arm wrestle.
The arm wrestle? Let's do it.
Really? Oh, the whole thing
sorry.
moved.
Oh.
The earth moved.
The jackalope won.
That's great. No, yeah.
He's dead now. Okay, he's extinct. So for anybody who's watching this for the first time, give us a like, give us a share. We always appreciate those. Check out some of our past interviews. We've done a bunch of cool ones. Convo is an audio podcast, so we're on iTunes, Stitcher, we're on Animal Planet, we're on all the things. Just subscribe. And also, if you like it, give us a review. Those are always appreciated. Thanks to everyone. Thanks to Social Pete. Thanks to Weston. Thanks to Paul. Thanks to Mungo.
Thank you.
Thanks to everyone who joined in the conversation.
Thanks to Jackalope.
And thanks to the Jackalope. And as always, be good to each other. Peace.